Like, our ancestors didn't do this. No?
He pulled the pin, assuring the court it was totally
Sure,
safe. You
they
see,
did.
this was an anti-terrorist case, and he wanted to prove a grenade was easy to use. He was sure all the weapons were no longer active, but a few seconds later, the
He's talking about premature. There's no such thing as premature. We're talking about a natural ancestor perspective where the only fucking purpose of inside the woman, right? Are you retarded? He cannot say that he's advocating for the natural way of having like the ancestors and also be advocating for the fucking gooner brain of the current century where it's all about lasting 45 minutes. It's like contradicting, you see.
detonator exploded in his hand. It injured the officer and sent shrapnel flying into an assistant's head. The blast even knocked the judge off his chair, and the remaining weapons he brought had to be tested to prevent another accident.
Wait, what?
Pulled the pin, assuring the court it was totally safe. You see, this was an anti-terrorist case, and he wanted to prove a grenade was easy to use. He was sure all the weapons were no longer active, but a few seconds later, the detonator exploded in his hand. It injured the officer and sent shrapnel flying into an assistant's head. The blast even knocked the judge off his chair, and the remaining weapons he brought had to be tested to prevent another accident.
What the fuck?
After she withdrew thousands of dollars from the bank, he followed her through the streets. And while she was walking, he grabbed her and threw her to the ground. Then he took what he thought was the cash and started to run away. But he realized he had taken the wrong bag, so he came back and slammed her even harder into the concrete. Her spine snapped, leaving her paralyzed from the waist down. He took the money and ran, but was later caught and sentenced to 30 years in prison.
I don't know if this is real stuff or not, but alright.
I know, your day is not complete without a second video by Sam Vaknin, the author of Malignant Self-Love and the author of Narcissism Revisited, and a professor of psychology, and never mind, handsome, we leave it aside. Now, there's one big difference between me and Adolf Hitler. I do not have a mustache, he did. But both of us use the same phrase, the same sentence, to describe ourselves. You see, Adolf Hitler used to say, "My mind is like a calculating machine." And so do I. I always think of myself as a machine. I say to myself things like, "You have an amazing brain," or "You're not functioning today, your efficiency is low." I measure things. I constantly compare performance. I'm acutely aware of time and how I use time. How
I gotta rinse my plate once again.
It's like there is a meter in my head, and this meter ticks and talks, metronome of self-reproach and grandiose assertions. I talk to myself in the third person singular, one step removed, detached, all very scientific and impressive. It lends objectivity and credibility to what I think, as though what I think is coming from an external source, from someone else. And my self-esteem is actually so low that in order to be trusted, I have to disguise myself, to hide myself from myself. It is a pernicious and all-pervasive art of unbeing, not being. I like to think of myself in terms of robots, robotics, or automata. I mean, automaton. There is something so aesthetically compelling in the precision of machines, in the impartiality of devices, in their harmonious embodiment of the abstract. Machines are so powerful and yet so emotionless. They're so invulnerable. They're not prone to be hurting weaklings like I am. Machines don't bleed like I constantly do deep inside. Often I find myself
once a month
agonizing over the destruction of a laptop in a movie, as its owner is blown to smithereens as well. Machines are my family, my folk, my kin. They allow me the tranquil luxury of unbeing on the one hand and becoming through them. I become through machines. And then there is, of course, data. My childhood dream of unlimited access to information has come true, and I'm the happiest person on earth for it. I have been blessed by the internet. Information was power, and not only figuratively when I was growing up. Information took me out of the slum where I was born and into the big, bright, shining, sparkling, glittering, glamorous world. It was knowledge, erudition, learning that extracted me from the hopelessness and dead-endedness of my childhood and the horrible life-threatening abuse that I've endured for 12 years. Information was a dream. Knowledge was the dream. Reality was the surrealistic nightmare that I woke to every morning. I was woke, but I was woke to a nightmare. I had taken my red pill long before anyone had dreamed of the Matrix. My knowledge was my flying info carpet. It took me away from the slums of my childhood, from the atavistic social milieu of my adolescence, from the sweat, from the stench of the army,